At Direct Service Overhead, we know how much trust you put in the individuals who have the privilege of working on the components of your home. We understand that a broken garage door is the last thing you want to be worried about, and most of the time, doors break at the most inconvenient times. Our professionally trained technicians service 24 hours a day, and our high-cycle parts are guaranteed to make a noticeable impact on your garage door without putting a damper on your wallet. If you're looking for need of assistance maintaining your current garage door, our team has the experience and expertise to deliver the results you deserve. Give Direct Service Overhead a call today or visit us online to learn more.
When we're coming in on the bus to the home games, and you see people walking across there, and I was one of those people, trying to get into the game, trying to get a glimpse of the coach on the bus, the players on the bus. They didn't have the hog walk back then, but, just trying to get in the stadium and feel the atmosphere. I feel that every single home game, very surreal, very honoring. I'm honored that I'm the head coach at Arkansas, but yeah, I feel it all the time. I was a fan. I went to camp. Went to football camp there, and Lou Holtz was a coach. And
did you get rejected too?
Well,
I got rejected.
I'm glad you said the two because that kind of makes me feel.
Yeah, I got rejected. I went to Penn State's camp.
I got recruited none. When we're coming in on the bus to the home games, and
All right, 3, 2, 1. Yo, what's going on, Arkansas Razorback fans, SEC fans everywhere? Welcome to the one and only Pig Trail Network YouTube channel. I am Ty Hudson, the host and creator of the PTN, and I want to say thank you guys so much. Special shout out to Patreon supporters. You guys, you guys have absolutely been awesome. That's all I can say about that. And of course, to our sponsor, our first sponsor, Direct Service Overhead, the garage door company who will repair or replace your garage door. You're having any issues whatsoever, with your door or the whatever's going on in the garage, give these guys a call, okay? Give them a call. Give them a shout out. Not a shout out. Don't do that. Tell them Ty sent you if you do give them a shout out. Say, hey, Ty told me to, give him the shout out. So if you guys would check out their link provided for you down below in the description box. Of course, they are also in our Patreon on the sponsor page on Discord. All right, this was supposed to be today's show. I wasn't able to go live this morning, so I had planned on doing a mix of the post-game show, what we just watched tonight, and then a combination of the news so far this week that has happened since Monday, and maybe some other stuff that we've missed here and there. So first off, again, thank you guys so much for being here. Remember to like and subscribe and share. My gosh, I cannot stress that enough for you guys to share the content. Is it possible this team could gel better? It's possible this team could gel later, but it doesn't look very likely. Says Turbo in chat. Joe just says we suck. Alex Henderson says it's going to be a long SEC season. I also asked our Discord today if you have any question. It's the PTN show question. Nobody answered except Kelly. I got one. Kelly, thank God, she bails me out with like multiple questions, so I appreciate that from Kelly. But I did ask that of our Discord if you had any questions, whether it was the Outback Bowl, the Mississippi State game, whatever. No baseball because I'm 10 miles behind baseball right now. I'm so caught up with, we're just coming out of signing day or early signing period. Obviously, SEC basketball's tipped off, and now we have Outback Bowl to get ready for. Tomorrow, it's going to get tricky. We do have family coming over. They're coming over a little earlier than I thought. I was thinking maybe they're going to be here right as the show goes live at 11. So tomorrow's show, I told you guys earlier last weekend, it's going to be tricky this week. Tomorrow we plan on going live. If we do not go live tomorrow, I say we, it's just me. If I don't go live tomorrow, then expect it sometime Friday. I can't tell you a time. I know this week it's been wonky. It's been all kinds of crazy. Thanks for sticking it out with me. Some of you have. I do appreciate that. Boy, basketball's not doing me any favors. I'll tell you that. They, Razorback fans are fickle already by nature. I've talked about that 100 times here. We're fickle. That's the case. That's what's going on. And now they're giving you a reason to be even more so. They dropped their third game of the season, and of course, another loss away from Bud Walton. Is that what this team is this year? Is that what they are? I realize they went to KC and got some dubs, but I have not liked the way they've played. And to be honest, they played kind of shitty in Kansas City. Let's just call it like it is. They didn't play that great. And I remember thinking at the time, my gosh, if this is not so great basketball being played here by Arkansas, what could they look like possibly if they get it all figured out? They had a couple of wins there, right? They went undefeated in KC, and you kind of felt like maybe they are, maybe they could fix whatever the problem is. I still think they can. I think the biggest issue for this team, it's I don't know that the right formula even exists on this roster. I'm just going to call it like it is. I think you have a team full of guys who would probably start in 75% of this league, maybe more. I mean, you're starting five. I think those guys start anywhere in the SEC, maybe even some other, P5, top 25, top 15 schools. I do think that. I think they have some individuals that are flat out ballers. They do things. They have their own strengths and their own, but it seems like the formula just isn't clicking. It's not there. And I don't know that they have it. Now, they were without J.D. Notae. Also, breaking news, Kamani Johnson suspended indefinitely. I don't know. I have no idea. This literally happened. I think we found out about this like 2 hours before tip-off. So I have no idea what's going on. No doubt in my mind Kamani Johnson was going to earn, or he had been earning himself some more minutes. these last couple of games. No doubt in my mind they missed a little bit of what he could have done tonight for the Razorbacks, especially when you talk about getting those tough physical rebounds. You think they didn't miss him tonight? Definitely would have gotten some minutes. And then, of course, J.D. Note, who I've said before can lose you as many games as he can win you, but you felt like tonight was a game. I felt like this was a game where his production could have been pretty damn solid. I don't think that this thing gets out of hand, and it never really got completely out of hand. Yeah, Mississippi State controlled the second half. They led by as many as, what was their biggest lead? 15, I think, somewhere in there. But it still felt like Arkansas was hanging around. I'm going to be honest with you. Here we go again. All of a sudden, a team gets a win at home, mind you. I'm not even going to, like, officiating was shit. Let's not sit here and pretend like it wasn't. In that first half, it was complete shit. But it's not why it didn't matter if you had, if you were getting all the calls. It didn't matter. You weren't winning tonight, especially without those two, without Kamani and without J.D. Note. But that first half, I'm not sold. Like, they're trying to prep up. I said prop up, rather. They're trying to prop up Mississippi State. Look, I think they're a team that could go on a tournament run. Look, man, they struggled against a team that doesn't have a good product on the floor. Arkansas, by the way, +5 in the category of rebounds. I think most of the first half, they definitely led in rebounds beyond the 5-minute mark. Did really well. Offensive boards, they didn't do so well, but they got, they did their thing, defensive rebounding. Arkansas was doing a good job not giving up easy inside shots in the paint. I will say their three-point defense is still not good. It's still not good. I don't know that they solved that. I mean, how many games are we in now? How many games into the season are we in now, and there's still no improvement at perimeter defense? Now, tonight, first half was better, but I still counted about 4 wide open threes. And then in the second half, I lost count because at one point I just got up, like the 4.5 minute mark, I got up and I started getting stuff ready for dinner, because my wife is actually in there right now cooking dinner. But I was getting everything. We do the meal preps, right? We do the, they send you your dinner, but you got to make it. We do those. What are they called? Hello Fresh or whatever. So I'm getting all the items out, and I've kind of got the game plan. So I don't know what they did in the final 3 or so minutes in terms of open looks outside in the perimeter, but I probably missed about 3 possessions at the most, but I was still able to hear it. So, at least Arkansas. So 6 total possessions when you consider both teams. But I had my eyes glued on about 90% of this game. I don't think their perimeter defense is any better. I don't know that they have the pieces to get this thing figured out. They have the talent. I don't want to say that. They have it. Like I said, I think talent-wise, when you look up and down this roster, probably top 4, top 5 in the SEC. Those are individuals, though. Individuals, I mean, you could put out 5 of the best players, and if they don't gel together, if there's no chemistry, if they can't get if they can't play smooth basketball on the floor, if nothing really ever feels like it's clicking. Do you ever, at any point this year, have you felt like Arkansas has had good rhythm and flow on both ends of the floor? I don't. I think it's just been choppy waters for them. If we're talking about boarding the SS Musselman, I feel like this year it's been a bumpy ride, a lot of chop, as they say out on the open seas. Like it's not been fluid. And it's a problem. And again, talent-wise is there. And what's crazy is they've got decent depth. I mean, we're sitting here talking about all these different options that they can utilize outside, and we saw that against the fighting Teslas, Elon and his fighting SpaceX astronauts, whatever you want to call them. Arkansas clearly looked pretty good, but they're not very good. I'm not sold that Mississippi State is some great team. Are they a top 6 caliber SEC school? Probably this year, maybe. Was not blown away by them, especially when you consider Arkansas. They're not out, but they're certainly down. It's too early to say they're down and out. Too early to say that, especially when we've seen Musselman, kind of wave a magic wand and get things figured out. Again, I'm not sure that happens. But overall, wasn't atrocious tonight. Turnovers were egregious. Personally, it was just embarrassing. Likes. I'm not sure what the hell that guy's doing to convince Muss to give him that many minutes. I know he's good at the free throw line. He's one of the best shooters at the line. Okay, and when he gets hot outside, he could get you maybe one or two shots outside. You know, he'll drive the lane, he'll get smacked around, and he'll try to find a way to get points. I get that aspect of his game, and he is capable of getting 16, 17 points. He's capable of doing that. He's also capable of turning the ball over 4 or 5 times. There's no ball movement. You feel like he takes you completely out of rhythm when you're trying to find rhythm. I get that he as an individual is someone who I think could probably fit a scheme somewhere. I'm just not so sure that if he's a great fit here. Maybe he'll find his place. I'm just not sold on the guy. I'm not. I realize there's been some games this year. Oh, my God, you don't win without likes. Okay, but you could say the same thing about a lot of guys on this roster, and yet here we are. I mean, you're 10-3 now. You've lost 3 games. I think all 3 teams you're better than. And I think most of us would agree in terms of talent on the roster. I don't know. I said, when was that? Monday, I put Arkansas. I said Arkansas is I think they can find their way to the tournament, but they're probably going to be on the outside looking in. I don't know. I'm not even sure right now that they're an NIT team. I'm not liking what I'm seeing. And again, JD Note, I get not having Note. I get not having Kamani Johnson, who physical inside. I mean, you know, we talk about finding that guy that can replace Justin Smith, and I'm not saying he's it, but he could maybe fill in to some degree that role, someone who can get you, physical points down low and kind of open things up for you down inside a little bit. At least get him 10 to 12 minutes. I don't know what he did to get in trouble again. It sucks. I really was kind of looking forward to him finding some minutes on the floor tonight. But I don't know. Right now, I'm just not impressed with anything that I'm seeing from Arkansas basketball. I'm just not. And I realize I'm preaching to the choir, and I'm not trying to. This isn't me agreeing with everybody. This is me simply what I've watched this year. They've had some moments. They've had some halves, where they just completely take over and play great basketball, but we've seen too much. What we saw tonight, even though their offensive identity was different without JD Note, we still saw a lot of what happened tonight. We've seen it time and time again now that we're in the double-digit category and played games. So looking at my notes here real quick, I'm going to make it fast, and we're going to move on. I want to get this behind us. Also, for those of you who are in our Discord, we have an updated 2023 football recruiting page in our Discord. If you want to check out that page, it is available for anybody. All you got to do is join up. All right, so I did make some notes for the first half. Jackson Robinson continues to give you hope outside with his outside shooting. In the first half, he was 2 of 5. He ended up his shot selection a little iffy in the second, but he wasn't afraid to jack him up. And look, that's what he is. That's what he offers you. He's one of those guys I've been saying for a while. He's going to fight and claw his way onto the floor and get some minutes, and he's done exactly that. Overall shot was impressive from outside. Arkansas shooting 42%, knocking down the threes. Again, this was in the first half. They ended the first half 5 of 13. Three-point defense looked better some of the first half. A lot of Mississippi State they missed like all their open looks except one, I think. I think they ended up shooting what? I thought I had their numbers down, but I don't, what they did in the first half. But their perimeter defense, they were at least chasing them off the perimeter a little bit. They're giving chase outside, something we started to see in the second half of last season, but then the second half, it was just non-existent again. But I counted about 4 open looks, I think, in the first half outside. Hogs had an embarrassing 9 turnovers by the end of the first half. But they did well in the crashing the boards. Again, they at one point were, I think, +5, +6. They ended up +3 in the category with just 7 assists in the first half. So you look at the total game here. I'm going to refresh this, see if they're going to give us the minutes. There we go. We got our minutes up. Okay, your starting 5, Jalen Williams, Wade, Robinson, Davis, Likes. Again, no JD Note. Connor Vanover found himself just 5 minutes on the floor, but not surprising. Mississippi State will, they've got a little bit of speed to them. KK ended up getting 11 minutes tonight, no points, no real production out of him. I mean, the bench, Amude was great off the bench. Tony was okay, didn't do what he normally does rebounding, though. He had just 1 offensive rebound, 1 total rebound, 6 points. But Amude, I mean, I was impressed with Amude tonight. Like, he wanted to take charge. He wanted to be the guy. And he got you 19 points off the bench. You got to like that. Devo was also, I thought, pretty impressive. 7 of 12 field goal shooting. 1 of 4 outside, though. Jackson Robinson finishes the game. His 2s that he made early in the game would be it. He'd finish 2 of 7, so getting him only 6 total points. Jalen Williams was creeping up on a double-double, 7 rebounds, but he did end up. What else is new? This guy's going to get you 4, 5, 6 assists a game. He got you 6 assists tonight, 3 blocks, 9 points. Jalen Williams played his ass off. 4 of the 5 starters from Mississippi State ended up in double digits. They also had some pretty good production, scoring 20 points off their bench. Again, Mississippi State wins this game 81-68. It's just it's disappointing, but to be expected. I did not think, even with J.D. Note, I felt like this was going to be a tough matchup. Arkansas ends up 25 of 59 from the floor, so just south of 43%. Shot 29% outside. They continued settling for junk, garbage, bullshit threes. And it's just, I don't get it. You are a sub 30% three-point shooting team on the year. And yet you average the most shots outside attempted. What are we doing? What the hell is this? What is this? He says he's trying to correct it in practice, but clearly nobody gives a shit, or they're not listening. I don't know. I think what he said weeks ago about this team being so hard to coach, it is just ringing echoes right now. Are these guys coachable? Why are you doing this? And I understand, well, Ty, they were down late, blah, blah, blah. There's other ways to get back and chip away at a score than settling for dribble, shoot kind of points. How often does Arkansas score off that kind of basketball? Really? Go back, watch. I've watched every game this year but one. How often do they cross the line, dribble, shoot? Oh, he made an easy 3. Rarely. And that's a low percentage shot anyways, dribble, shoot. Like, there has to be some kind of movement. You've got to create your shots. You got to have you have to pick and choose. Shot selection has to be better. And this year, I feel like I've held back all year. Like, all right, okay, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. All right, Muss is working on it. Now you've opened up conference play. We're seeing more of it, and it's atrocious. You're shooting sub 30% on the year, and yet you're going to settle for 27 shots, I would argue half of which were junk, contested, or just not good looks, right? And sometimes you just have to know where you're best at on the floor, and we see guys not even settling for those shots. Oh, you know what? I feel good here. I'm just going to jack the ball up. It's frustrating. So you go 8 of 27 outside, 29%. No surprise here. Likes was 3 for 3 at the free throw line. 10 of 14 from the floor or from the line, 71% there. Again, you got 25 points from your bench. I don't even want to give it MVP because I just, this game was just so disheartening. Mississippi State, who you held below 22% in the first half shooting outside, they end the game at about 29%, going 5 of 17. They did shoot 46% and just easy buckets. Second half, they completely changed. Like, they wanted to go for those inside looks. They wanted to dominate more in the paint. They did exactly that, which is, again, surprising considering, Wade and Jalen got some quality minutes. We did see Connor Vanover only for 5, but still, they did at times. It seemed like they wanted to kind of play with a bigger roster, but they just couldn't. Yeah, I don't think this team goes far. I really don't. The more I watch, the more it's like nothing's changing. I'm not going to count them out. I don't know. I don't see it, which is crazy because, before the season I said, I don't do my official picks until right before conference play. But they look like, when you consider the talent on the roster, if they get it figured out, they're a Sweet 16 caliber team. I think that's even adjusted. Even if they do get it figured out, I'm not entirely sure what they're capable of doing. I think they're capable of getting to the tournament, but okay. I've spent entirely too much time. I'm getting frustrated. My blood pressure is going to go through the roof. Too many newcomers. And, last year they said the same thing. Last year the gripe was, well, too many new guys on the floor with the incoming freshmen and the transfers. And they figured it out. I don't buy that. I don't buy that there's too many new faces this year. They just can't get it done. let me put it this way. I don't completely disagree with that argument because now roster turnover is crazy. It's ridiculous. You're bringing in all these transfers out of the portal, and you're having to find ways for these guys to gel. But last year, you don't get to the Elite Eight without those newcomers, and you don't get to the Elite Eight without the transfer portal. It can work. You've just got to get the right guys on the floor. Muss is looking rough. He needs to have surgery. Yeah, his shoulder. He's not going to have surgery until the end of the year. Mizzou shocking Kentucky right now. Arkansas basketball will win 15 wins this year. Love my Hogs, but no leader on the team. No point guard is killing this team. There's no PG, man. You don't have your one guy, and it's just disheartening. Muss can't coach, calling bad defensive sets all game. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you can blame Muss all you want. I don't know that I put it on him. I think it's just the right now the product on the floor, which is up to him. But I feel like if you're gonna lay blame at his feet, it would be like, okay, when you were recruiting these guys, did you feel like they're gonna work well together? Like, it's different when you recruit, right? Because you have time to get to know the player. You have time to recruit, watch all the game film of them in high school. You get a chance to bring them on campus, mold them together, right? These guys are used to being the big dog on campus where they're coming from, or really productive or a leader, and now they come here and you're trying to fit them together. And so it's, again, you don't go very far last year without your transfers, right? This year, I feel like you could say, I don't know that he went out and got guys that could play together as a single unit. I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. It's frustrating. I'm not counting them completely out. I'll just simply continue to say I don't know what they can and can't do. I'm at a loss. It could end up being the worst year he's had here, or they could turn it around and surprise us. Mississippi State, I'm sorry. I'm not buying what they were trying to sell us tonight. I'm not. They were pretty sloppy. Muss ain't on the hot seat. Who said he's on the hot seat? No, he's definitely far from the hot seat. Who said that? Country Boy. Okay. Country Boy. He's good for at least 3, maybe 4 just hot takes that are not good. My favorite is when they dribble between their legs, then the shot hits the backboard so hard it almost takes someone – I've noticed that too. Yeah. All right, let's put this away. This is what I'll say. I don't know how far they can go. If you mold them, somehow convince them to get it figured out, get better chemistry on the floor, they have the talent on this roster to do some damage. They really do. I think the ceiling is unknown because you just don't know if they can get there. You just don't know if they can really figure out that chemistry on the floor. And I think Muss is probably doing everything he can. I really think that he has, and that last game against Elon is proof of that. We saw all kinds of different players out there on the floor, and at times it felt, damn, this looks really good, and at other times a little sloppy. But yeah, you're not going to win very many games when your opponent is getting 15 offensive rebounds, right? 39 to your 31 rebounds, and forcing 17. I would argue about 75% of their. Well, I'd argue maybe more. About 80% of their turnovers were just was just great defense by Mississippi State. Some of it is just stupid passing. I don't know, but 17 turnovers. You're not winning very many games. Your assist to turnover ratio was 15 assists to 17. You're not winning very many games. So I'll just say they've got a lot to work on. I think it goes beyond just perimeter play. They've just got a lot to work on. And that's the other thing, too. The previous 2 years going into conference play, it was like, okay, no, we could see some lineup changes. Okay, but feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty good about what we've got going on. This is the first time since Musselman's been here where I'm like, they got this issue, they've got this issue, they got this issue. And I'm telling you, when you have this many question marks and you're getting ready for conference game number 2, I don't know. All right, let's move on to the Tyson Morris stuff. I don't know if you guys have been keeping up. Tyson Morris, who no one knew if this cat was even going to make it. Sam Pittman had kind of hinted at the possibility that he probably would, but there's a possibility that he couldn't. He did show up as I showed you in the if you guys were here before the show started. He was at practice today. I think the question is, considering how much he's missed a lot of their what actions they're doing down in Florida. He's missed out on a lot of it. Now, yeah, their game plan, it's installed before they go to Florida. I think he was in on some of that. I hope. I think that's the other question. How much time did he miss towards the end of their install for Penn State? Does it concern anybody that he's just now getting there? You're by their schedule, they're probably realistically, to them it feels like tomorrow the game or 2 days away. So he's getting there with about three days to prep. I'm sure they're getting him caught up. Does his illness kind of hold him back a little bit? He is someone, by the way, you talk about not having a number 2 receiver. He was the closest you had to it this year. Tyson Morris, and I said at the beginning of the year who was going to be that guy. I don't remember who said it in our Discord. And someone had asked me, Ty, why don't you have Tyson Morris as someone who could become that guy? Well, I'll tell you why. His entire time here, he's a practice hero, but we never really saw him put it together on the field. It wasn't that I didn't think he was capable of it at all. It was that we've seen him be a scrimmage hero. We've seen him be a guy that they brag on throughout fall camp and spring camp. And I just wasn't sure that I believed it. And then the season kind of progresses. He became that good bailout receiver. If Treylon Burks was getting double teamed and it was a 3rd and 9, 3rd and 12, or you were facing a long second down and you need to eat up a lot of yards to force a 3rd and short, Tyson Morris was there. Okay, he only had 21 grabs. That's not exactly great, but you felt like, okay, he's the closest thing. Warren Thompson could have been. You take away his drops in Little Rock. Down in Little Rock, he is your number 2 receiver on the stat sheet. So how much does the amount of time, how much was he involved last week? What kind of illness was he facing? And, I think, too, at this point, I'm just going to be happy when kickoff starts. I'm telling you guys, I'm still not comfortable. I'm not comfortable until they take the field. I may not even be comfortable with the game even finishing until you see nothing but zeros in the fourth quarter. But, Tyson Morris could be a huge part of this offense against Penn State. You're going to need somebody. I realize Penn State has a boatload of opt-outs. They had another opt-out this afternoon, a defensive tackle. They are hit hard with opt-outs. They are now up to 6 players have opted out for Penn State. Jahan Dotson, 91 catches, 1,100 yards, almost 1,200 yards, 12 touchdowns, first team All Big Ten. Jaquan Brisker, safety, All Big Ten safety. Arnold, whose last name I never have figured out, Ebiketai, I think someone tried to pronounce in chat or tried to spell it out. Anyways, they're really good defensive end, All Big Ten. He's opted out. Both of their linebackers, Ellis Brooks and Brandon Smith, are out, and now Derek Tangelo is out. That is a grand total. 336 total tackles, 40-plus tackles for loss, and 15 sacks of production that are out for this game. With the overall, with the 6 offensive honorees, Penn State had a net total of 18 all Big Ten selection in 2021. Now, I think that's also going through the first, second, third, and fourth team. Or maybe it was the third team. I don't know. I hate the way they do things now. It's just become a giant participation award. Oh, that guy played. Give him honorable mention. I hate that. I just give him the good old days, the first and second team, and be done with it. But anything for clicks and anything to make someone feel like they belong, I guess. But a lot of production for Penn State not going to be there. So, again, the next time this show goes live, we're making our picks. It's going to be official. We're going to talk about Penn State. We're going to talk about a little bit more about what's going on with them, and then I'm going to give you my odds on this bowl game. And, of course, at that time, I will want your prediction. Now, let's go to what Kelly Marie wanted to ask. I can't answer one of her questions. It was about the starting five. I had it typed out, actually, when she asked me that. I typed it out. What did I say? Oh, Vanover, Wade, Jackson Robinson, Note, and Davis. But I didn't know about Note until, like, lunch. So I wrote this out this morning. Or was it last night? I know I've been in and out of here writing up all kinds of notes. But that was my kind of predicted starting five, Kelly. So I don't know if you're still here or not. But that's what I was looking at. And then she wanted to know who leads in tackles for Arkansas. So this is a good question for you guys. Who leads in tackles? Who is the first to announce after the game that they are returning for Arkansas after the Outback Bowl? Which running back leads in rushing? She also wanted to know who led in assist. I didn't get that far. I wanted to say I had picked Devo, I think is what I had in my head. I'll say this. I'm going to give that all to you. I'm going to give you all that next time we go live. I'm not going to do it here now. We have a super chat, $5 super chat. Did you see Penn State 4 defensive players out? No, it's actually 5, Joe, and I appreciate the super chat. It is 5 defensive players, I believe, is what I counted. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 2 linebackers, defensive tackle, or so 2 guys off the D-line and the safety, Brisker. Brisker's good, by the way. Yeah, they're missing all kinds of pieces. I don't see how we saw Likes and Note on the same court working out, though. I don't know. Smash the like button. Yeah, do me a favor. Hit the like. I'd appreciate that for sure. You remind me of John Palfrey. I got to say, I have never heard that comparison ever. John Pelfrey. I don't know if you're talking to me or not, but Owl Shadow. Ridgeway, when asked about the bowl game, said, I'm like a fat kid in a candy store. I'm loving this. Got to love that kid. I agree. Mike and them, thanks for the comment. High volume shooters with a lot of bounce situations, shoot situations. I said that's probably what he was hoping for, not what he got. Have you heard Bumper's plans? No, I have not. He is participating in the NFLPA. Oh, you're talking about Country Boy. Okay. David Scott says LSU and Auburn, 2 of the dirtiest programs in the SEC, scumbag coaches. I mean, it's more than just those 2 in this conference. You do have a higher quality of coach in this conference, but some of them you got to wonder how they got there, right? So, all right. SEC so far 0-4 in bowl games. Oh, no. The SEC sucks now, you guys. The SEC is terrible now. What are you guys smoking? Like, really, what are you smoking to see that and to believe that that's the case? It's almost like, oh, man. Really? No. The bowl games this year far from they do not reflect the SEC as a conference. When you consider opt-outs, and yeah, every team's dealing with them, sure, but let's compare the SEC to the teams that they've played so far. I'm willing to argue that in most cases they've got 1, 2, maybe 3 more players opted out. All sorts of different things going on in these games, right? And yeah, other teams got to deal with injuries. Even if, let's say that's not the case. Are you going to tell me that you thought Missouri, Florida, Auburn, and Mississippi State were quality teams in this conference? Yeah, Arkansas lost to Auburn when Auburn, they played the best game of their season against Arkansas. There's no doubt about that. They were the healthiest at that point. They didn't have players opt out of that game. It was Arkansas, and I felt like that was Arkansas's ugliest game all year between that and the Georgia loss. Those were the 2 ugliest games. And it took that much for Auburn to sneak out of Fayetteville with a win. I understand the score, too, but if anybody who actually watched that game, they knows that score, that and you understand that score does not reflect the actual game itself. That was just a horribly called game, definitely on the offensive side. One of the worst games under Sam Pittman, period. I would say, one of the worst 3 or 4 games in his tenure at Arkansas through 12 games. Should be 13. Should have played TCU, and hopefully Penn State doesn't back out. But if you're hinging everything on those four teams, like there you go. Now Missouri's loss embarrassing. Florida's been shit all year, and Auburn had to play a pretty damn salty Houston team without some key pieces, and only lost 17-13. By the way, Mississippi State was embarrassing. They had I know they lost Charles Cross, maybe the best tackle in college football. One of the top 2, top 3 easily. I know he's projected as a top 10 pick. He might fall. We'll see what he does if he participates in the combine. He could fall. It's a possibility. Yeah. They're not in here. They're in the dishwasher. What was I saying? But yeah, no, I'm not hinging your success as a conference on those four teams. Now, could Arkansas or could the SEC still get embarrassed? Maybe. South Carolina, North Carolina. I think I picked North Carolina to win that. Tennessee. I thought Tennessee was tonight. Tennessee and Purdue in the Music City Bowl, 3 p.m. Thursday. Okay. Alabama, Cincinnati's coming up, right? Georgia, Michigan, Arkansas, Penn State, Kentucky, and Iowa. That one might actually be pretty good. I think both those teams are overhyped this year. I definitely thought Iowa was overhyped and definitely thought Kentucky. I don't know that I'd put Kentucky in the top 25. Ole Miss Baylor is going to be fascinating. LSU, I don't know. That's a tough one. You could still end up having a shit bowl year. That still doesn't reflect the grind of the SEC. There's a reason why it is the premier conference in college football. Did they have kind of a year? Maybe. That's absolutely a possibility. Bama, who mud stomped Georgia in the SEC championship, could have lost at home to Arkansas, right? And then you have Georgia, who we thought all year easily this team's just going to win out. They got destroyed in the SEC championship. People keep acting like these two teams are just head and shoulders over everybody else. I don't think so. I don't think Bama's head and shoulders over everybody else. Georgia certainly seemed to be that way. Maybe you could make that argument, but I would take the top 6 in this conference against anybody else. In fact, I would take the top 5, top 4 against probably anyone else's top 2, top 3. No, I don't think that bowl games are a reflection this year, especially of your conference, your prestige as a conference. I had someone arguing with me in my comment section, another guy in my Twitter DMs trying to convince me that the SEC is 100% overrated. If that isn't the biggest bunch of bullshit you've ever heard in your life, you just didn't watch football this year. That's all I could say about that. I feel like, again, it could be a horrible bowl year for them. That doesn't reflect on the season, what you accomplished, the talent on the field, the draft picks, the coaching quality in this conference. No, it's going to take more than one really bad bowl year for this conference to lose its shine or its polish as the premier conference in college football, okay? I've got someone telling me, oh, don't you remember 4 years ago when Clemson and the ACC looked like the best conference? Dude, the SEC didn't get there by having Clemson or just Bama, right? 15, 20 years of buildup got you to where you are right now. All these different teams winning championships, all these different teams playing in how many have you had out of the SEC? Is it just 3 different teams now out of the SEC, LSU, Georgia, and Bama in the short time that we've had playoffs? It's just a ridiculous notion. It's going to, again, I'm not saying that maybe the SEC didn't take a step back this year. Sure, absolutely. Coming out of COVID, dealing with all this stuff, dealing with opt-outs through bowl season. I get it. So is everybody else. Penn State is a prime example of that. But at the same time, it doesn't take off. The polish doesn't wear off simply because of one bad bowl year, right? It's going to take more. And again, these 4 teams, I'm not even sure Florida should have gone bowling. Mizzou did not look to me like a bowl caliber team at all. Auburn with what they lost, Mississippi State, I would argue that was probably the worst loss for the SEC right now. Sure, I would agree with that. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Country Boy, but SEC hasn't won a bowl game. What's your point? You've had one school completely opt out of the bowl game, and you had 4 teams that you had very little confidence that they would win those games. I think I picked maybe I picked all those SEC teams to win. I don't remember, but again, it's not exactly shocking that they're 0-4 right now. Those are not teams that you felt super comfortable with, right? All right. Treylon Burks' draft stock continues to shift in a pretty positive direction with one draft expert. CBS Sports' Chris Trapasso has Burks now going the 6th overall spot to the New York Football Giants. Don't know how I feel about that. I don't like. That's got Darren McFadden to Oakland written all over it. I don't know about that one. We'll see. I'll be honest. Outside the Rams, I haven't really been keeping up with these other teams on our receivers, players on my fantasy team. I haven't really kept up with the rest of the league. How are the New York Football Giants? How good's their vertical game? How good are they passing the ball? I don't really know, to be honest. All right, let's go on. Let's continuing with Tyson Morris. This is what Sam Pittman had said earlier about Tyson really quick. Again, we know he's here, but I'm just going to read you. I had this all typed out this morning, and then we found out as soon as I posted the picture of the thumbnail for today's show, it came out that he was at the game. I think Kelly Marie posted it in our Discord. But this is what I had typed up before knowing he was in Florida. Tyson is dealing with some issues back home, and he could get here. Sam Pittman said at his first media Arkansas coach Sam Pittman said at his first media availability of Bowl Week, it just depends on different rulings and things of that nature. He could get here anywhere from Tuesday afternoon all the way, probably we feel like the latest would be Thursday. But if everything goes well, we feel like he should be able to play in the game. He also went on to say, I could tell you that depending on different rulings, I don't know what's going on with what he means with the rulings. So that tells me this had to be COVID. He just couldn't come out and say it. I know it had first been reported, someone had reported that it was actually flu-like symptoms. And I don't remember who, I was just reading that article yesterday, and I don't remember who wrote that, but it wasn't Otis. Oh, it's going to kill me. But someone had said that it was the flu. But so again, he says, I could tell you depending on different rulings, we would know this afternoon whether he could be here to practice on Wednesday or whether his first real speed action will be on Saturday. Pittman said of Morris, we're hoping and feel like we can get him back. So he's clearly here. And again, Tyson Morris ended up with 21 catches, 305 yards, 2 touchdowns. Other wideouts who could possibly step up in the absence of Treylon Burks, we've talked about this, but Warren Thompson, who had 18 catches, 292 yards. Devion Warren, 13 grabs, 219 yards. Katron Jackson, unfortunately, I was really hoping this cat would end up, in the 18 to 24 category in receptions. He ends up with 5 for 97. He did have a score. He actually had 2 touchdowns, one of them called back. And then a possibility of Bryce Stevens, who has played in the last 3 games, but had a mini breakout game in the Razorback 16-13 overtime win at LSU as a punt returner. So you still have those options. I really would like to see how many games. So he's played in 3 games. Bryce Stevens, who's played in just 3 games. So if he plays in this 4th game, I think he still reserves his red shirt. I think that's what the rule stipulates. It's 4 games you can be active in. So I want Katron Jackson to show out Saturday so bad. Him or, anybody for that matter. But, yeah, I'll give you my thoughts on that next time we go live. Again, we may not go live tomorrow, or we may. Just make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you hit the notification bell. And I'll try and do a better job of I was a little bit behind letting everybody know that we weren't having a show this morning. But I'll try, if I think I have a window of opportunity to tell you guys, I'll try to do that. But keep in mind, I probably won't. I may just go live and hopefully you're there, right? I would like to, if I could, I would like to go live probably tomorrow. What is tomorrow? Thursday. I'd like to go live after like 5 o'clock tomorrow when I think about it. Going to see if I can make that happen. Maybe between 5 and 6 tomorrow. But again, make sure you hit the notification bell so you can be here. Johnny Dobro, I'm tired of always having to root for SEC and talk about how great the SEC is. I hope Cincy and Michigan wins. I'll put it like this, okay? I have respect for the conference, like the teams in the conference, right? I have respect because this conference is great because of these individual teams, okay? And I shouldn't say I actively root against those teams. What I should say is I root against those teams so that it reflects poorly upon the SEC front office down in Georgia or Bama. Where are they at? Aren't they in Atlanta? Isn't that the headquarters or whatever? Wherever the hell they are. I don't like the people that run this league. That's my problem. I have all the respect in the world for these other teams, especially the ones that try to play by the rules. Like LSU basketball right now, I have no respect for what's going on at LSU. At least Auburn I think they self-reported. I don't know. At least they kind of did something, which is saying a lot these days. But I still have respect for what these teams, especially, baseball, football, for what they've accomplished. Arkansas baseball, clearly. I don't actively root against other teams and their fans. Sometimes I probably get caught up in the moment. But really, anything that reflects poorly upon the SEC and their bullshit front office, I'm thumbs up. I am definitely rooting for Bama and Georgia to lose. I am. I want both those teams to lose. I don't think that happens. Cincy could be a surprise. Michigan and Georgia should be the better game of those two, but who knows? But anything that reflects poorly upon the front office of the SEC, I'm all for. And the icing on the cake for me, I already had a dislike because of how they've handled officiating. I think the SEC officiating in football and basketball is atrocious. It's terrible. They haven't shown any signs that they care. I think the quality of officiating here is not good. But that's not even it, right? There's still more to it. But last year's COVID scheduling was the icing on the cake for me. Go and look at those schedules. You remember who Arkansas got paired up against? They played favorites. They wanted to give they wanted to give the big dogs in the conference, the teams that were in the best position to have success and make the playoffs. They wanted to give them an easier path. Now playing in the SEC, there is no easy path in the SEC, but they didn't want to make it any harder or any more difficult for those teams, especially playing a conference-only schedule. And that was kind of the icing on the cake for me. Maybe Arkansas, if Arkansas the year before was 11-1 and they were coming in with all this hype, maybe they would have done the same for Arkansas. I feel like they probably would have. And I know me saying that sounds crazy, but I feel like they just want a path to the playoffs no matter who it is, and that's why it seems like they so often favor teams like Bama and LSU. It's why Bama privilege is a thing on Twitter for the longest time. Right? Because Bama is constantly in position to be in the playoffs. So they do this thing where you feel like they're playing you, like puppets. And I don't know. I don't like this conference. I don't have a lot of respect for it. Anything that reflects poorly upon the conference, I'm okay with. And I get the argument, like, look, Arkansas plays here. Don't you want that reputation for playing with the best and all that? Of course. But I also wish the SEC did things and handled things a little differently, and they don't. So, yeah, Cincinnati winning it all would be amazing. Talk about an uproar. Well, then, like, playoff expansion's already happening. It's going to happen. I think it'll happen within the next 2 seasons, maybe 3. But if Cincy and Michigan both beat SEC opponents in the playoffs, who knows what happens after that? I think you could see an expansion because then the argument for is way more. It's way stronger. So, Johnny Dobro says Musselman is running out of time to figure it out. Well, I don't know about that. I mean, again, you just now played your first SEC team. You just opened up. But based on where we're at and where we've been so far this year, it's going to be tough. Yeah, he's not on the hot seat. That's a ridiculous take. Cincinnati should just throw everything they can at Bama. All right, that's going to do it. I do appreciate you guys. Again, next time we go live, we're going to break this game down. We're going to talk about Penn State. I'm going to give you my score. I'm going to take your predictions as well. And yeah, if you haven't already, feel free to join our Discord, right? If you're not there, you need to be. You should be. But if you want to get in on it, right there, let me copy and paste. There it is. If you want to get in on the Discord, you should do it. We have 2023 football recruiting page up. We have the final signing class page up, the 2022 football class, the 2022 basketball. We have the Bobby Hopper transfer portal, which in terms of players that are actually possibilities for Arkansas hasn't really lit up. And to be honest, it's kind of been – a lot has happened over the last several days, so it's been difficult to kind of keep up with. But we do have that page there. We call it the Bobby Hopper portal /tunnel. That page is up, so there are a list of names there of some possible players that – I mean, hell, you already added one, right? You already added one. So actually two off that list. Landon Jackson and, of course, the OU transfer, Jaden Hazelwood. So, yeah, that list is there. And we also have the current Hogs in the portal, which right now Ray Curry, Jalen St. John, who was in, but he took himself out. Darren Turner, Jermaine Hamilton-Jordan, which is a little surprising to me. And then JT Towers, also surprising. Andy Boykin, Vito Calvaruso, who ended up at Wisconsin, right? Didn't Calvaruso end up at Wisconsin? And then Solomon Wright and Josh Oglesby. So we have that Discord page up as well. And Kamani Johnson. We got breaking news about Kamani Johnson. What is this? Okay. Kamani Johnson on Twitter. Hang on a second. Let's look this up. Shout out to Discord for bringing this to my attention. I'll flip my screen over for you guys. Of course this happens. Right as we're trying to put this thing to bed. Okay. This is again Kamani Johnson. I would like to apologize for my careless and selfish actions over these past few months. I've let my family, teammates, staff, and our entire fan base down since I came into the city of Fayetteville last year. I have been through many ups and downs, but one thing that has never changed is the love that I have been shown here. You all have supported me 100% through everything and deserve 100% from me in return. As a man, I have taken responsibility for my actions and am dealing with the consequences. Moving forward, I will learn from this. We all make mistakes, and that is the truth, Kamani. We all make mistakes. But the goal is to grow from them. I'm committed to doing just that. I am thankful for the support and resources provided by the athletic department. I truly appreciate those who are sticking with me through this process. Huh. Okay. Well. All right. So maybe we'll find out more. Maybe we'll get some more information. So I don't know. All right. I will see you the next time we see each other. We're going to be talking about Penn State. I'm excited for it. I really am. I'm not going to give anything away. I'm going to tell you right now, these opt-outs, do not overlook these opt-outs. If you don't think that Coach Franklin has a good finger on the pulse, and by the way, he said today to the media, we've known for a while on these opt-outs. So I think they've been prepared for this, and I don't think this is going to be the kind of game fans think it'll be, with it just being a pushover because of the loss of all those Penn State players. Of course, you've got Burks and Trey Williams who are out. Big losses for the Hogs. I get it. But I've talked to a lot of people who feel like this is just going to be a scrimmage. It's going to be just a absolute frog stomp. And I don't know if that's going to be the case or not. So we'll talk about that next time we're live, okay? I'm going to go eat some dinner. You guys enjoy the evening. And, Woo Pig. I'll see you next time. Maybe tomorrow evening, possibly Friday. Again, subscribe. Hey, and if you want to join Patreon, that link is provided for you as well. Shout out to Patreon supporters. And, of course, direct service overhead sponsor of the YouTube channel. Woo Pig. I'll see you guys next time.